identification.
Hello, happy Tuesday.
Hello, hello.
Hope everybody had a bunch of tacos.
Oh God, I forgot Taco Tuesday.
I was thinking about it. I ended up with something I probably shouldn't have ate.
Uh-oh.
Arby's, they had a Hawaiian fish sandwich.
Really?
It was okay.
What did they just put a little pineapple on it and call it a Hawaiian fish sandwich?
There might have been pineapple. I didn't know because everything's like over. Because I'm not used to that much taste and everything. Eating just meat, you only get mainly salts and stuff from the meat. So when there's something sweet in there, it's really sweet.
Right.
And I had strawberry lemonade. Oh man, it's like
all sugar.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sit down, cat. Sit down. They have to get up here and then they have to do circles to find a spot to sit down.
Right.
And then he gets up. Yes, I clicked the wrong button again. So there may be some people over on Bushcrafty.
Yeah, I thought something was up.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until I had two buttons at the bottom. It says view channel. And I'm like, okay. And I said, well, why would they do it twice? I looked at the other one. It was Bushcrafty. And I said, oh, well. So, yeah. Kind of want to have like a little bit of an easy night and thought, would it be really cool if we actually got to see some perp walks?
Oh, I would love that.
And who would be on your top?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, probably Obama. But I really, really would like to see Adam shift.
Yeah, that's another one.
He's well, whatever. And then there's that ice cream lady from San Francisco. That one too. Mitch McConnell.
Can't forget about Biden either.
Well, yeah, but
it's be surprising if he. Oh man, that drink didn't go down so good.
Whoa, you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
too sweet.
I think there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Hey, Ziggy.
No. Hey, Ziggy. Like Pam hasn't released the you know what list yet. You know, my brother was kind of ticked off. He's like, they said they'd release it right away. I'm like,
no,
relax, dude. It's only been you gotta let them play the game. That's you know.
And you see the left side.
Oh, they're bouncing off the walls.
Oh, Trump is ruining everything. The eggs are scoring, and I'm like, where have you been?
All right.
The eggs have been high. What, they go up like 68%?
I don't know, but I paid almost $9 for 18 eggs the other day. So
I still can get them if they have them at the butcher spot, because there's a lady down the road that has chickens and she sells all of her chickens to him,
Right.
and I get them for $4 a dozen.
Wow. They used to be that much, cost that little here.
Yeah. Now, if I drive a little bit, I know other places where I get them, but I can't drive that far. But that's what um, when I happen to see something pop up on Facebook instead on my way to look at the marketplace, and I'll
Right.
see Trump is to blame for our eggs at $8-9 a dozen. I'm like,
Yep. He's to blame for
what?
8 years, right?
Yeah, his first month that he made him raise eggs.
Right.
And this whole I seen another video that about the chicken shortage now, and this lady goes in Walmart, since this is the most popular store and everything. She goes over to where they have the rotisserie chicken, and it's $4.99 or whatever, and she holds the bag up and walks over to the meat department and says, "What's wrong with this picture?" And it's like $12 for a chicken that's not cooked.
Oh, it's not cooked.
Yeah, and the one that isn't cooked is $12. And why is this? How does this make sense? Because they're saying since there's a chicken shortage, the chicken prices have went up, but Walmart still has the rotisserie chicken for $4.99 or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
and it's good too.
Um, yeah, it may be good, but if they didn't put it in that uh, plastic bag that is not a food grade bag,
Oh, well,
yeah,
yeah. But
which it's hard to get
I
away
get
from.
past that if I'm hungry. I just pound it.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from that stuff because it's like everywhere.
Right,
That stuff that's in the plastic, the PFAS.
right. Some of those chickens are small though. You could, I mean, that's like one serving for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. Very doubtful you get a good sized chicken from that. But still, you would think um, the difference between a cooked one and a not one, you figure the cooked one would be way more, but it's not.
I see
And
that, Dana. Grace said corn. I can't have corn anymore.
yeah, Costco still has it for $4.99. Bueller's has it, and it's like six something, and theirs is so much better. Again, they put it in that a plastic bag, but theirs is actual food grade because you look at the bottom and it has the code on the bottom, and that again, who knows if that's true or not, if it's the right code or
Right.
just something they put on there.
Publix puts theirs in a cardboard box or paper box.
Yeah,
With a
that
flap.
would be good if Walmart would do that.
Gee, these your streams normally don't start on food until about halfway through.
Well, it's like the main subject of the left people or
Right.
the Trump haters, I should say, because there are some Republicans that don't like Trump.
Of course, the rhinos. Okay, so my phone is on Bushcrafty, and my laptop is. Oh, wait a minute. Wow. I don't know. Doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah, it all adds up. Chicken in plastic for hours, no good. Yeah. And that's the thing. If you go there and they're cooking it right up in the spot, that'd be something different. Um, it's. I think it's when it cools off, and then you heat it back up. I wouldn't heat it back up in the plastic bag either, because
No, I reheat mine. I put it on a plate,
yeah,
a food grade plate.
yeah. Well, they were blaming him all the way before he started the 20th. See, we voted. He's been voted president, and already we're having issues with this. It's like Biden's still president, so you have to blame him for that. Uh, yeah, I want to see. At least I haven't seen it yet. That um, he's making it to where, and it shouldn't just be Senate or House. It should be every government, well, even state and government employees have to be audited every year. That
No.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Then you can hire 86,000 employees for IRS. They'll have something to do besides going after the normal people.
I think they were sending those ones that were hired that had been quote unquote trained with pew pews. And I use that word trained very loosely.
Yeah.
He was sending them to the southern border. So,
Yeah.
to lend a hand.
But oh, did you hear about the scuffle between Whoopi and the press secretary?
No.
Uh, she's being interviewed, and she brought up the so-called ladies from The View.
Oh boy.
uh, yeah, it was a good little bit. I haven't heard if
Was this at at her presser that this happened?
no, she was being interviewed on one of the networks or something.
Oh.
I seen it on a TikTok thing, and they cut it up so where it would jump back and forth because you know Whoopi would say something back, and then she would reply.
Huh. Yeah,
Oh.
well, let's see. Joy Reid's gone. Boo hoo. I think the next one is Maddow. She's probably next on the list. And, you could put in their place like SpongeBob SquarePants or something like that, or some other show that's,
You got to put some of the rich housewife shows. I forget what.
Oh, I can't stand those reality shows. They're so phony.
Put a couple of them up there.
Those folks are so fake. It's ugh.
I would love to see one of them jump up and throw their drink in Whoopi's face. Don't you ever shut up. Yeah, that's kind of what I wish there was somebody, a news network that would keep up with how many of how many people have left the country?
They're not gonna keep up with it though because they're part of it.
Yeah,
That's my opinion. They're just
yeah, because we won't hear about it unless Trump says something about it, saying, "Well, we found this out about so and so, and went to go investigate it, and he's gone. He's over in another country." That's probably the only way we'll actually hear about it, unless they see him over in a restaurant somewhere and people take pictures. What is he doing over here?
I think there was I don't know if it was signed, but it's on paper a mineral deal with the comedian and the leather chaps over there, for mineral rights.
Yeah,
Get paid back, which is good.
yeah. Silly string at the truck yesterday. Been in 4 road rage. Dang. I'd probably stay home.
Yeah, you can lose your right to what when you get caught doing that. Not that it's your fault, but
Yeah.
you're involved. Say goodbye.
And do you have a camera, a dash cam yet? 101. It's better to have one before than say, "Oh, I should have put one in there."
Hmm.
Oh, but yeah, I would really like to see at least investigations going on. Even though I know investigations don't go anywhere unless it's involved with Trump.
Oh, sure. They got to have their narrative.
Yeah, I mean, last time he was in office, it was all the money that was in put into that. It was horrible.
Yeah.
You need to retire from driving and leaving the house. There you go. Call an Uber. Oh man, could you see 101 in the backseat of the Uber
No.
gripping the headrest? Speed up! Don't let him cut you off.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember back in uh, when I used to drive in Phoenix. Um, some of the road rage you see out there.
oh,
Back then, we didn't have these fancy windows.
right.
You walk up to it, and your hand goes through the
The
not
glass.
the windshield, but the side windows.
Best just to look the other way, folks.
Yeah,
Mind your business. There's idiots everywhere.
yeah, because you never know what that person in the other vehicle is is dealing with that day
Right.
or that month or that year.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody could be very, very depressed and whatnot, and that's all it takes is just that little spark.
Yep.
You can almost say it's like the butterfly effect type thing. Just that one little ripple in the pond over there sets a motion of all kinds of things going off. Yeah, I seen a cop trying to break a window one day. He's banging on it with his nightstick like crazy.
Excuse me.
And guy goes up there with this little swing thing.
That little dinger hammer, that little hammer thing.
No, it's it almost like looks like a slingshot. And you put it up there and you pull
Okay.
this spring, and
Right.
it has like a
Probably got a diamond point on it or something.
yeah, and it goes
Titanium
into it, and it just will.
Yeah.
And that's in that that is something to think about nowadays because these windows in these newer vehicles are really strong. They're not like you just bang them with
Right.
a screwdriver or whatever. How many people have seatbelt cutter at hand's reach when you're driving?
Right.
Actually, I think I might have one in here besides a knife, because sometimes, depending the situation, a knife can be actually more dangerous. Thought I had one sitting here. I don't know what I did with it. It's buried with everything
That's got
else.
like a plastic, like a slotted groove with a blade inside it, right?
Well, I've got one that
Yeah.
has a hook to where you can't stick your finger in there or
Right.
anything. So
Right.
you just hook it and like that. Yeah, I seen somebody going over their get home bags for their vehicle,
Yeah.
and some of the things were pretty interesting, and some of them were just like, "What were you thinking?" um, they had stuff in there that doesn't belong in a vehicle because vehicles get hot, and nowadays vehicles get hot everywhere in the United States. Some places are 80, 90 degrees, and inside of a car it's 20, 30 degrees hotter. And oh, I have bug repellent. What? That thing's going to swell up, and everything in your bag's going to have uh, bug repellent all over it. And he had um, he had he actually showed how he made them and everything. Uh, Wooden matches that he put twine around and dipped it in wax. And I'm like, another thing that's going to be leaking all over your little bag.
Right.
Because as soon as it gets hot, that stuff is going to leak all over the place. And they tell you not to place those matches in the heat. I I don't know. They used to, the wooden matches. They used to say don't put them in next to heat because they can ignite. Um, Not only that, you're not supposed to carry matches to where they can, rub up against each other. They're okay to, stick in a container and leave them on a shelf or something, but not if they're moving around like that. That's like ferrocene rods.
Right.
Ferrocene rods have a coating on them. I'll see people who use a fresh ferrocene rod and it doesn't work, and it's because they haven't rubbed off the the protective cover for to transport it.
Yeah, you're talking about hot cars and what not to have in there. Uh, We have a big problem down here with animals and
Yeah,
young children.
yeah,
Man, it can get real, real hot, real, real quick inside a car. And
yeah,
look, I forget how many years ago it was. B might not remember, but it was Ordana. But they passed a Good Samaritan law down here, where if you see a child or an animal in distress from heat, you can take the window out
yeah,
and not be charged with anything. And we had I was at, I'm not going to say the exact location, but I was at a park, state park, and this dog he was expiring in this back seat. This stupid lady just had the windows up, and and the sheriff came out because I called him, and the dog started getting panicky looking, and his tongue wasn't as pink anymore. And I said, "Are you gonna?" I said, "Because I'm gonna break this window. I'm not waiting around anymore." And he's like, "Go ahead." He's like, "You've got the law on your side." And just then, the lady's coming over it's like a wooden walkway that comes over the beach. And I said to the deputy, I said, "I hope you give this woman as many tickets as possible and watch." And he looked at me kind of funny. And she said, "What are you doing in my car?" And I said, "What are you doing to your dog?" And we had a real nice conversation. And he basically said, "Okay, we're done." And I said, "All right." And he wrote her up big
good.
time. She was out on the beach doing photography while her dog was baking in her car.
Yeah,
So
they always say, "Well, I wasn't gone that long."
yeah, it doesn't take long.
Yeah,
And then you've got the real horrible people that do it purposely. So you know,
yeah, yeah. You see, I used to watch a lot of Cops, the show that they used to run. Well, I think it's still the thing, but I'm not sure. But you would see kids being in there, and you want to see somebody. Uh, they hurry up and get the kid out, and then when that parent comes out, they throw everything they can at that person.
yeah. And the
They,
judges down here, they are very pro animal, and of course pro kid, the child.
yeah,
It never used to be that way with the animals. Now it's just like you're going for quite a while if you do that.
yeah. That's the same as the opposite up here, wintertime. Animals will be left outside, and um, they don't give them water. They got water out there, but their water's frozen, so they're licking that frozen ice the whole time,
All right.
trying to get water. And people don't realize when it's cold, you actually need more water because your body to keep warm uses more water. So you can get dehydrated more in the winter than you can in the summer.
Yeah.
They used to um, well they still if somebody reports it, and they'll come and take animals all the time, because and they'll post pictures, and they'll say who owns the animal, and the and show them pictures of their living conditions and say this person left this dog out to this, and it's broadcasted all over Facebook.
Right.
Because that's the, every if something bad on Facebook, everybody's going to share it. Oh,
Nobody's using the bot tonight, huh?
yeah, the bot's out there.
But
Yeah. I should make a command for just 101.
It's like I may be one of the few people that hasn't got a bucket full of Ethiopian cow dung or Yeti urine
piss.
dumped on them. I've gotten kicked a few times, but
Probably from Dana. She likes to kick people.
I've been pretty lucky. I hadn't had anything dumped on me or thrown at me.
Yeah, Dana gets on a roll. You got to look out.
Now that I say it, the algorithm's going to pick up on it. Get some bucket of pythons dumped on me now. Watch.
I can supply them. They're all down here. We got all kinds of snakes.
4-day-old dog pee.
Might have to take you up on that offer. Might need a few.
Beard trimmings over Ziggy. Actually, I did just. That's weird. That's creepy.
Where does it come up with this stuff? With a 3-legged frog? How was y'all's weather today?
Actually, really nice.
Nice. 70.
Not that nice. But
72.
I think we topped out at 76.
for the
Nice.
north, it was 42. I think it may got up to 50. I'm not sure, but let me see.
But it's been like, I don't know
It
about
was
in
in the
y'all's
40s.
area, but here it's been like real kind of hazy in the mornings, the last couple mornings. They even put out an alert about the air quality, which,
Oh.
they usually do that on the news, but they didn't. It seemed like they would. I got to look more into it. They was making it seem like it was a real big deal today.
It got to 49. Didn't quite hit 50. Tomorrow's supposed to be 52.
Hey, y'all moving on up.
Yeah. But again, that is Zanesville weather. Ours is a little bit cooler because we're kind of close. Well, they're close to the river too, but I don't know. I think we dip down in.
Big Chuck, good to see you, buddy.
Hey, Chuck.
Where's Chuck?
Yeah, I've officially made a decree. Winter has officially ended in the state of the South.
Oh, there he
It's
is.
full spring ahead.
Yeah. See, I'm definitely. The phone is on the wrong.
How's your dock?
What dock?
It's still.
It's sitting in the parking lot.
Oh,
The floating dock sitting in the parking lot. And the pilings are right there. All I got to do is get back a crane in there. I'll do it. Let me borrow the crane. Pick it up, drop it over the pilings. I got a good metal guy. He can build me a hinged gangway. You could drive it in with bolts into the wooden end of the dock and the wooden end of the floating dock, and we're done. And it just sits there because of the bureaucratic mentality down here. we don't want to hear no more about Milton. Granted, I know people went through hell. I
Yeah.
get it. But now it's between you and the insurance companies. Life has to get back to normal.
Yeah.
And, there's no reason for these spots that used to be usable to just be sitting like this for months and months. I was on the main road that goes down the Barrier Islands. That place over here, for the most part, it's dead. I mean, the restaurants and the bars, it's still dead. Granted, they're still popping up once in a while. Some rebuild, some don't bother. The ones that rebuild are the ones that were real popular
Yeah.
nightlives, the ones that have a different band in every night. Those are, but they all used to have bands every night. Well, most of them, and
Yeah.
it's almost like a ghost town if you compare it to what it was. So I don't know. It's
Does your
sad.
area get busy during spring break or no?
Oh, we get a lot of revenue from spring breakers.
When is
Absolutely.
y'all spring break? When is spring break? I don't even know anymore.
It depends.
Well, we're actually seeing more cars now. So it's gonna be March. So and then you've got people way far north. They come down in the beginning of February because they
You
can't.
got about three carloads coming your way Friday.
Oh,
But not me. Don't worry about it. It's not me.
it starts March 1st.
Oh yes, that's next week then.
Three
Yeah.
car loads.
Most
Yeah.
universities start March 1st. Ohio starts March 9th. Cornell starts the 29th. Kent State starts the 10th. So you might as well say the first to the end of the month because you get 2 weeks. So
My buddy's got some family. I forget which city. He done told me like 6 times, and I still forgot the city. His family got some property down there, and he ain't got but one kid. It's his daughter's birthday, so they're going down there to spend the weekend.
yeah, I believe Easter is the 20th of
Yeah,
April.
20th of this year.
Yeah. You just scratch my chair and you're going to come up. Oh, there you go. Say hi.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. 8:36.
Oh, I thought we were doing away with the time change. Didn't he sign a thing?
I don't
Trump?
know.
I thought
It's
he.
weird. It's weird how they do that because the state of Arizona and the state of Hawaii, they don't acknowledge it. Theirs don't change.
Yeah.
It's like it's got to be weird for like people on Hawaii. Trying to keep up with the different time zone in America if you got friends or family, and then remember, is it spring forward or is it fall back? Because it's not something they really think about.
Yeah. And they're still there. So,
Yeah.
it's not the end of the world for those. Changing it according to Google. Okay.
I looked up the date because it just seemed like April the 20th was a weird date for Easter. And it said that the last time Easter fell on April the 20th was 2014. And they said, however they come up with their calculations, they said it won't happen again until the year 2087, I believe.
Wow, that's a good bit.
If I'm still around in 2087, I'll be 99 years old. We don't forgot half of that stuff if I'm still kicking. I hope not. Yeah, heck, February's gone. We got St.
Yep.
Patrick's Day and then Easter.
Yeah.
And everybody will be cranking up the grills and whatever. People born on a leap year won't have no birthday this year.
Yeah. I got a kick out of the meme I seen today. It said, I'm officially starting my I'm going to stop drinking the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st
I'm proud of you.
of February. There's a lot of people saying, congratulations, good job. And then
They don't even think about it.
it dawns on them. Oop.
You still doing your carnivore diet?
Yeah.
How's that going?
I did say I was going to, once I got the 30 days, that I could cheat a day once a week type of thing. And basically I had the first of the month, I had the salad and the meatloaf sandwich. And today I had a fish sandwich, which the bread and the stuff that goes with it. No, I don't know where my phone
Had
is.
fish for dinner as well. That's weird.
Over there somewhere. Yeah, that dang three-legged frog gets around.
It certainly does. Wow.
I wonder how he became three-legged too.
I wonder who loaded the bot like that with all these different things.
Well,
So I'm waiting for the Yeti.
I asked Google. I said the strangest thing is you could be hit with, and it gives me the answers. And some of them are like, well, I can't add that to the bot because I'd get in trouble.
Thanks, B. For that, she's at it again. 10-year-old tater chips. Oh, she dumped my chips. Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, they're your 10-year-old tater chips.
Yeah.
It on a CJ.
Got a 300.
Yeah, she's buzzing around my house. What the heck?
300-pound ball of couch cushion lint dumped on your head.
Right?
101 got it.
With a Texas shrimp.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Abilene special.
I think I got to Google that.
The Abilene special. Google that one.
Looks like Danny DeVito.
Oh, there you go.
You said steel cat.
B. Charmin dunked a bucket of boogers over Grace's head. Oh, come on now. Now you girls are fighting. Wow.
Oh, there's the fruitcake.
Oh, no.
That's enough to knock somebody out. Shouldn't, instead of slapped, it says was knocked out by a brick of fruitcake. No.
Happy. Oh, Grace, I've heard that line, but oh no, B, I'm innocent, I tell you. So how was your day today, What?
Oh, it was shocking. Every bit of it was shocking. It wasn't too bad.
It was electrifying.
It was a slow day, really. Got a few things done and went and set a few temporary power poles at a couple job sites. They're fixing to start building some new homes on.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. We have the poles prefabbed up, and it's either going to be one of two things. It's going to be an underground tent pole, which means that the power company hooks up from the bottom, or it's going to be overhead fed from the top.
All right.
And Once the job site gets done, we'll take it out, bring it back to the shop, clean it up. If anything needs to be fixed or whatever, we fix it and then send it off to another one. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yesterday wasn't too bad either. We did a pretty much all day. We did a kitchen remodel, moved some outlets and circuits around in the kitchen. Wasn't too bad.
Dana, I can't believe you did that to me. Another
It's getting closer to the Masters. We're getting a lot of like service calls, people wanting to have stuff done, lights changed out, little punch lists, you know, making sure everything's working properly.
You hear about all that with the hostages' bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna. There's reasoning behind why they're just not released them all, because now they're finding out they're just bodies.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't imagine being in that state of mind.
That's a powder keg over there.
Oh yeah. I mean, if I want a trip to Israel, I'd probably take it just to go to Israel, but I would be worried too. I'd be like, can I bring a friend? Because or I'd find one of them the female soldiers and ask them if they can follow me around.
Yeah. If me or you went over there, they'd either love us or hate us, you know. We'd either blend in with the beards or they'd be like, hey.
Oh yeah.
They definitely try to kidnap me. They say, oh, you fat American, you very, very rich. You come with me. You too fat. You much money. I know, it doesn't work that way. Oh, yeah. I'd definitely love to see parts of the world like that, yeah, but
yeah.
it's a lot different than going down the road or across state lines, for sure.
Yeah. And there's a, I don't know, it's not like a hike, but you could hike it if you wanted to, but the main places that in the Bible where Jesus walked and was at, like the gardens and different areas and stuff.
Yeah.
That would be real cool. Check out them really old olive trees and stuff. They actually blocked them off now because people were taking cuts of them and stuff, and it was killing the tree. I think there's only 2 left.
Wow.
And
you just imagine how vast those orchards were when they were there, you know?
Yeah.
It's endless.
Cement pillars and stuff holding the branches up and everything.
Right. You know, there's a city here in Georgia named Rome, Georgia. And of course, Go Bulldogs. There's also in Athens, Georgia.
Yep.
Yeah, we got Athens, Ohio.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Do we have a Rome, Ohio? I don't know.
That might be all right then.
Both those names are common here.
Oh, there's a Rome village. There is a Rome, Ohio. Huh. Let's see where it's at.
All right. Well, I guess it's not as unique as I thought, man.
It's right along the Ohio River. It's outside of Cincinnati.
Well, You got a Peachtree Street?
What?
Peachtree Street.
Oh yeah,
Peach
we've
tree?
got all
You
the
got one?
I've heard
yeah.
of that before.
Come on, man.
We've got all the trees, oak and
Got a boggy creek.
walnut. And,
We went. What was this road? It was one of the weirdest roads. I had to ask my coworker tomorrow. It was the weirdest road. I couldn't take a picture of the street sign, just how we were in the motion of things, but I can't figure out how to save my life.
oh, you have an Athens in Florida too.
Yep. And every state's got a Rome.
I used to live in Phoenix, Oregon.
That's funny. Phoenix, Oregon.
Yeah. There's a Paris. Is that? I think it's in Texas or Las Vegas, or I mean Nevada.
There's a city.
You
We
have
have a
Baghdad
Phoenix.
in Florida.
Man. Yeah, I'm not even going to Google and see if we have one of those. I doubt it. Maybe later.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All of this is alleged.
Hey, I wonder if there's a town called Allegedly.
Now that I will Google.
Okay. In the United States, many unusual names include intercourse, and these are towns or cities. This one would be very bad to live in. It's Satan's Kingdom,
Wow.
Booger Hole.
Where are these places at?
Booger Hole?
It's in Alabama?
Actually, that's in West Virginia.
Wow.
Why do you think about booger holes in the South? What's that all about?
No, it's like a natural instinct, you know?
Intercourse is in Pennsylvania.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Satan's Kingdom is in Massachusetts.
Well,
Wow.
yeah.
And then there's Bald Head, which is in North Carolina.
Bald head.
Monkey's
That's funny.
Eyebrow is in Kentucky.
That makes sense.
And Somewhere is in New York.
Grace, get on that, will you?
Yep. There's hell, and there at the very top it's paradise. So
Hell,
to get to paradise, you have to go through hell
Wow.
in Michigan. There's Rabbit Hash, Kentucky.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
I already
that's
knew
about
this
right.
one. Truth and Consequences in New Mexico. Nothing, Arizona. I've been there.
Slap out Oklahoma.
Accident in Maryland. Of course.
Every day.
There's a town in Texas called Ding Dong. Chicken Bristol, Illinois. Boring, Oregon. I already knew that one. Rough and Ready, California.
No, I've never been there, but there is a between Georgia. It's about halfway between me and Atlanta.
I wonder if there's a Doge anywhere.
It might be why it's called between, now that you think about it, because it's about halfway.
There's Santa Claus in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Wow.
There's Y, but it doesn't say where it's at. Oh, it's in Arizona. What cheer in Iowa? Here's the 35 weirdest American cities. Probably ones we already said. Bangs, Texas. Soda Springs, Idaho. Bluff, Alaska. Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Fry's, Virginia. Dinosaur, Colorado. American Fork, Utah. Concrete, Washington. Briny Breezes, Florida.
Mm.
Why Not, North Carolina. Hurt, Virginia. 96, South Carolina. Cut and Shoot, Texas. Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Oh, wow. The spooky name of unknown origin could be the title of a metal record, a teenage horror movie, or a scary video game. Because they tell you where the names and they don't have its unknown origin where that name came from.
That was.
I know there's a city in South Georgia close to the Florida line named Tiger, Georgia.
Canadian, Texas.
Whoa.
Superior, Wyoming. Atomic City, Idaho.
That makes sense.
Okay, Oklahoma.
Okay. All right.
Coward, South Carolina.
Oh,
Those fighting words.
And
that's an interesting story.
The population of this southern town refuses to disclose the origin of its name.
I'm about to get on that. Let's see where that's at.
Oh boy. Tennessee. Three-way Tennessee. Climax, Michigan. Winnebago, Minnesota.
Oh, never mind. That's near Myrtle Beach.
Uncertain, Texas. Last Chance, Iowa. Speed, North Carolina. Oblong, Illinois.
Yeah, that's fitting.
Cool, Texas. Colon, Michigan.
Like the organ?
I don't. Claims a town named after the city of Panama, but the fact that Michigan is home to a place like Brown City in Flushing, Colin suggests this horrible pattern. Pink, Oklahoma. Bluegrass, Iowa. Rainbow City, Alabama. The city is named after a highway called Rainbow Drive and has been advocated for the LGBT
I was going to say
rights ever since. So that, I guess it's the capital. There you go, Alabama. China, Texas. China, Texas is south of Hooker, Oklahoma. And the number one, evidently, is Pope Joy, Iowa.
Wow.
Okay, I
But
think enough strange names.
looks like B got a hold of some transgender saliva on.
Oh,
Ugh.
got to stay out of Alabama.
Wow.
What, have you ever drove through Rainbow, Alabama?
I thought that was their motto, really. I thought it was just like one big pot of gold. But I think all different cities and stuff, they have different names, like Prince of Wales at the time, when Oglethorpe and his whole crew came in and founded Augusta. They named it after her in the honor. That's how Augusta, Georgia got its name. No, I've been close to Coward, South Carolina, though. I looked it up. It's near Myrtle Beach.
Are you serious? That's a name? I'm going to have to look that up. It is. Knock 'em Stiff, Ohio.
Nice.
I didn't know. That's the first time I heard that. Knock 'em Stiff, Ohio.
Like right across the river, one of the little towns in South Carolina you go into, it's named Beach Island. And there's no beach nor no island there. But, pretty sure it's named after somebody. But yeah, Beach Island, South Carolina.
Well, that's interesting. There's also a Put in Bay, Ohio.
Put in Bay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's said that Native Americans inhabited the island. The name may have come from the ceremony act of putting in the bay, the ships.
Huh. Okay, that makes sense.
It's interesting. Learn some of these things. Some of them don't make much sense, but
Yeah.
learning why they name a city and stuff. Of course, my town's named after something, for some kind of Indian name or something. Yeah, there's a whole big articles about that place. It's pretty famous, evidently. Okay, what? I don't want to go there to look at it. Yeah, you look at some around the world. United States names aren't that bad. I mean, how would you like to live in a city named Dildo?
Mm,
in Newfoundland.
mm. I was thinking Ireland. That's close. No, that ain't even close. No, that's over there. Was that near Australia?
bump past Virginia.
Hmm.
Well, there's Jim. Hey there,
Hello,
Jim.
gentlemen.
Greetings.
What have you guys been talking about?
Pennsylvania.
Oh my God!
Yep.
Don't remind me, that's my state.
What
Literally.
was it? What was the name for
I don't know. I'll have to go.
Was
I'd have to
something like
go back and look.
hollow hole or some kind of.
Yeah, Hollow Hole, Pennsylvania. Flipper Wheel. Have you ever heard of Flipper Wheel, Pennsylvania?
No, what? Do you know what part of the state that's in? I bet that's west or north of me.
It's got to be.
I mean, I didn't even know about that underground mine where they had all those Social Security records. I've heard of Intercourse, PA, Grace.
Oh, that's what it was.
You can't make these names up. That's how ridiculous the state is.
Somebody make them up.
Somebody did.
Well, right next to Intercourse, Pennsylvania, there's Blue Balls, Pennsylvania.
There's Bluebell too. I used to live in Bluebell. It's actually called Center Square.
It's too close.
Oh, Lord.
It's down the road from Bird in Hand.
Yeah, I know where Bird in the Hand is. That's out towards Lancaster.
A bird in the hand can get you very dirty.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you'll be able to make it to Climax, Pennsylvania.
Man,
Wow. See that? Hey,
the same guy named all those towns properly.
You got to watch out for Big Beaver, Pennsylvania.
Oh my God.
They had a college for college, and they had
What is going on in Pennsylvania? Y'all are getting out of control up there, man. Someone's got to.
Jim. Jim shows up in 5 minutes and it's all gone to crap again.
Man, you got to go to these town hall meetings. So it's getting out of hand.
I don't know if I'm seeing the.
It's the Pennsylvania Dutch and the Amish that had to do with this.
Peddler's Village.
So you know a lot of towns in Lancaster.
Yeah, my son lives. Well, Ephrata has become the recording capital of Pennsylvania because all the recording studios moved out of Philadelphia because of the city tax, the wage tax.
Okay, I'll let you pronounce this because I'll put it in private. That that town right there.
Let's see. Yeah, Lidditz. that is
Okay, that's not what I seen, but
yeah, it's Lidditz, PA. Actually, that's a little closer to the Appalachian Trail. I actually knew a long time ago.
Okay.
I think
Wow, this is going off the rails real quick.
that's north of Lancaster, and I think northwest or east of Lancaster. As you guys hear the latest news, Cash Patel is opening investigation into 2 honeypots that were in the Trump campaign in 2016. He's investigating the former FBI director.
Yeah, that came out earlier today.
Okay.
That's the other weird name in
Robert Mueller.
Pennsylvania.
What?
There's plenty of other ones, I can assure you of that.
Oh, I got to go up to private.
Hey, Shadow, how's it going?
Hey, Larry Schulte.
Let's see. Coffeetown, Pennsylvania.
I never heard of that. There is one place that actually makes sense. There's a town called Slatington, which is right near the Appalachian Trail. And they call it Slatington because it was the major source of slate when they put slate on old houses.
Well, now I understand. I understand why Pennsylvania is the way it is.
Why?
California, Pennsylvania. It's in Washington County, by the way.
I've heard of that. I'm not sure where that one is either.
And
You figure a lot of what goes on in the state has to do with southeastern PA.
why are the majority of the odd names in Lancaster? There's so many odd names in Lancaster County. Mount Joy.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. That's not too far from Linnets. We can say Linnets, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's Paradise.
Yeah, I've heard of Paradise.
Yeah, right south of Big Beaver.
And actually, Indiana, Pennsylvania used to be the Christmas tree capital of the world. There were more Christmas trees harvested from that county probably in the 1950s and 60s than anywhere in the country. And now it's Washington State, Oregon, and even Michigan harvest more Christmas trees. They were all grown for wholesale sales.
There's Mars, Pennsylvania too. Doesn't say what county it's in though.
I forget how many counties we have. It's either 50 some or 60 some.
There's Panic, Pennsylvania.
I've heard of that.
It didn't say what county it's into either. There's a Hop Bottom.
Well, everybody knows about the Amish in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Lancaster's got a lot of them.
Well, the thing is, they all live outside of Lancaster. It's you figure all the Amish that lived in Lancaster moved out of there probably over 100 years ago. My son sees horse and buggies all the time, and they have a thing behind the horse so it doesn't leave its droppings on the road. And actually, it's really scenic out there. All the soil out there is limestone. It's got almost looks like a milk chocolate with a yellow tinge to it. And you'll see all these walls and buildings you can see were built out of limestone. There's so much limestone out there that the farmers actually took a lot of it out of the soil so they can till the ground. Because how are you going to till soil when you got rocks like over, a foot in diameter?
Yeah.
And that limestone holds up really well to the elements. I wish we had that type of soil here.
Yeah, over here the Amish build their foundations and everything with sandstone because that's what we have. And still to this day, you can go when they tear down old barns and stuff. People go around and buying up those sandstone because it's all carved into real flat rocks and stuff. It makes good foundations.
What color are the rocks?
Yellow, white. Yeah.
See, we have sandstone here. It's rare, but it's a red color.
That's probably got a lot of clay then with it.
Well, actually, I've broken up rocks. It's sandstone of the Brunswick Formation. Actually, it's pure sandstone. If you break it up with a hammer, it's all grit. But we have more shale than we have sandstone. Hey, Lele J, long time no see.
Evening.
And actually, out in Arizona, where the sandstone is real red. Because when I was a kid, I remember looking at the pictures of my grandmother subscribed to this Arizona highway magazines.
We just did a kitchen remodel job for a couple, and that's where they just moved from, Arizona.
I couldn't take the heat out there at all, boy.
Oh, you get used to it though. I just strange town names in Georgia. You guys don't have too many. I see the one where it says Tiger. There's one named Talking Rock.
You know which Do you know which state has the most counties?
I think you said it was Georgia, didn't you? Or
Te-
no, Georgia was second.
Texas. Texas has 254 counties. Georgia comes in second with 159, and Delaware has the least. They only have 3 counties, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, you figure, look how big its state Texas is.
Oh, you got Cairo and
Yeah, we
Georgia.
got Cairo, Georgia. I've been through Cairo before.
What? I got a question. What is the native bedrock underneath that red clay? Do you know?
Couldn't even tell you. I ain't even made it that far down yet, my friend.
Because around here,
It's they call this area like the and they call it like the Piedmont region. You
Yeah.
know, it's just down and south from the mountains. So of course, over time, all that little slurry and that runoff gets down through here, and you go through patches. And like today, I had to set a temporary power pole. And had to dig it about 3 foot down, and you just see all the different layers. It's clay, sand, it's a little bit of everything.
because I'm in the Piedmont area too.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if you drill for a while, once you get down about 100 feet, you hit limestone. But then when you get north of me, it's not limestone. Like when you get in the Lehigh Valley area or Reading area, when I say Lehigh Valley, that's near Allentown, Bethlehem, and Easton.
Oh,
You hit different rocks altogether. Actually, I've seen rocks up in the Allentown area at the base of the Appalachian Trail and farmer fields where it's shale. It's red on the outside, but it's yellow on the inside. Because some areas of Pennsylvania, my well driller told me the worst stuff to drill through is granite. Hey, Mary.
There's a place like that. A friend of a friend, they got some property out there. It's called Lost Wilderness, South Carolina. It's right up there near the lake and the river. But you get out on the back of this guy's property, and there's creeks and little rivers and stuff, but there's the weirdest looking rock formations, just like out in the middle of nowhere. I know it's by the river, but it's kind of weird.
There's a township about 10 miles north of us where everything changes, where all the ground is wooded because there's one area, Upper Salford, there's just boulders all over the place. And if you're that kind of ground, the reason it's all wooded, you can't do anything with it. How can you farm a boulder field? And when you get up into the Poconos, which is north of the Lehigh Tunnel, which is just a plateau, there's just big white boulders everywhere. You figure the reason why people settled where they did is when this country was founded is, people had to grow food. They had to settle where they could, pull a plow with a horse and turn the soil over. And I got a question for you, Wildlife. Like Georgia, I don't think were there many Pennsylvania Dutch people that founded that area?
There were some pockets, those type of people, because we've big communities are like Mennonites, and they're like the Amish. They're similar. They live more modern. But yeah, there were pockets. German communities like Helen, Georgia. That whole town, it's done turned into like a tourist town now, but the whole town itself is set up like Germantown. The buildings and everywhere.
oh,
It's just you don't even you go up there, you just don't even feel. It's pretty cool. But yeah, there's still those little pockets, those communities and people. It's not as thick as y'all have the Amish up there for sure, but yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Buster.
Up here, they've. I mean, there's still some that use the horse and buggy, but most are using the electric bikes now, and those things can go pretty quick. I've seen them going 50, 60 miles an hour down those roads.
I've seen kids on electric bicycles here already and electric scooters.
But yeah, downtown, they're everywhere.
Well,
They even have like bike lanes, like on the certain roads and stuff. They have this lane that's designated right there, and it says bike lane.
yeah, it's not so bad on paved roads, but you see the back ends on them gravel roads when they're going 40, 50 miles an hour. It's like I'm waiting. I don't want to get too close to them to try to pass them because they're going to dump it. And then, thump.
I wouldn't want one of those because you never know if the battery's going to run out.
Hey, Bush,
Well, they do pretty good.
Look at the list TH2 put in there.
I've had customers that live in Philly and work in Philly, and this is how this got started. One customer, I saw inside the vehicle. I said, "What's that?" And he said, "That's an electric scooter." I said, "Why do you have that?" He said, "Well, I park in Philly, and it beats walking a few blocks. Just get on the scooter." I don't know what they were.
When I was down there, in New York, there were bikes all over the place, and they were, carrying stuff. I don't mail deliveries or paper deliveries or whatever they were delivering. You go across the street and go past you. It didn't matter if it was a red light or not.
Quick.
Well, those electric scooters, I think, are more for the young people than people in our age group.
Well, you'd be surprised down here. There's a lot of older folk that are riding.
I wonder what those men of night think of the ladies of the evening.
Where are you seeing that?
Mennonite ladies of the evening.
Oh,
It's an old joke. Some people.
yeah, I got it.
Well, it did warm up here today, and the ground thawed out a little, but the ground's still frozen underneath.
Mm.
Oh, cool. I will have a interview, the big channel, on the 4th.
Good.
Can you say who it is you're going to interview, Bushcraft?
No.
No. And if he did, it would be allegedly anyway. So,
Well, that'll be after my birthday. I'm not saying the date. And that's the date of the State of the Union. I'm looking forward to that.
I also got the package today for the giveaways for members that a company sent me.
Can you clue us in on what kind of giveaways are in that package?
They're about this big.
Okay, are they made out of plastic?
No, they hold 10 gallons.
Glass.
You think there's glass in that?
Well, what holds 10 gallons that isn't made out of plastic?
Pop-up top hats.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's got. You haven't seen them? They're everywhere, man. You got to get you one.
I don't like a hat. The only reason I ever wear a hat is when it's cold to keep my body heated.
Cowboy hats.
Well, the straw hats make me hotter. Plus, they would get knocked off my head when I'm running the tractor between trees.
I got a bunch of hats.
there you go.
I think, man, well, you could wear it as a hat, I guess, but if you wanted to, I suppose.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about the Cowboys tonight.
You mean the Dallas Cowboys?
They're in such disarray. It's just whatever.
Did they get a new coach yet?
Yeah. They got a new OC, a new DC, and they got a couple of D linemen, and they got another defensive end, and they're still gonna be rotten next year, or this year. So it don't
They get a
matter.
new quarterback.
I think they're getting one as a backup because I think Cooper Rush is going to be traded. But as long as the owner still has control over that, because he's on a power trip, they're never going to be good. The 3 Super Bowls they won with Jimmy Johnson is just because Jimmy Johnson bucked heads with
Yeah.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah, they had their best teams in the early '90s.
Yeah.
Remember how didn't they beat Buffalo 3 years in a row for the Super Bowl?
Well, they only won 3 Super Bowls. But it wasn't. They almost had a 3-peat, just like the last Super Bowl was almost a 3-peat. Thank God it wasn't. And they got knocked out in the NFC Championship. But the Buffalo Bills played the Cowboys twice, and then the Cowboys didn't 3-peat, but then they won the following year. So whoever was in between their second win and their third win. So Buffalo went to the Super Bowl 4 times
And
in a row and lost.
And they got blown out every time by the Cowboys.
Well, back then, pretty much everybody did, but that was dreaming. Now nobody blows anyone out anymore. Although Kansas City got blown out, so that was a switch.
They just wasn't.
They didn't even look like they wanted to play.
Yeah, that wasn't a game at all. I only watched bits and pieces of it, but if I was sitting down to go watch it somewhere, I would have probably left because it was really boring.
Yeah.
I don't like to see one team just annihilate another one.
No, I want a competitive game.
Yeah.
But I knew it was over before the half, and you know why? The first thing I look at is the line. Offensive line versus defensive line. And who's ever dominating, that's it. If at halftime, if the D line is all beat up, they're going to be beat up in the third quarter too. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but Kansas City outscored the Eagles in the last 2 quarters, even though the Eagles still won.
Right.
Well, it's like when somebody goes in the first 2 quarters way over.
Yeah, they back off then.
Yeah, it's like why should we go all out and maybe hurt ourselves?
Right.
Even though it's a last game type thing.
I wonder if the Eagles are going to go to the White House, all of them will. Because when the Eagles quarterback was on The View, he was quite chummy with everyone on there.
Well, he's got to be.
I only saw a few minutes of it, but I thought,
Well, I personally think that the Eagles should not go, and they should send Whoopi in their place. He could sit down with the Donald for lunch.
Oh man,
that would be better.
I thought Whoopi was a good actress in Star Trek: The Next Generation and in the movie Ghost, but something about her I just never cared for.
Maybe the series she was okay.
Guinan? I didn't.
The movies, no, and especially not the new series because it's all woken.
Yeah,
she played Oda Mae Brown in Ghost.
What gender are the Borg?
I don't think they have. Well, no, wait a minute. There's a Borg queen. So, male and female, I guess.
Well, yeah, they're whatever they get assimilated to be.
Right.
Because they never went into detail in the next generation if that was changed after they were assimilated or not. And because I don't have Netflix and I don't care, I haven't watched any of the new stuff except for what you see occasionally on YouTube.
Well,
Clips of it.
I for a fact can tell you 7 of 9 is a woman.
Yeah, it's Jerry Ryan.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Jerry Ryan.
And if it wasn't for her husband, Obama never would have become a U.S. senator because he had to, not run again because of a scandal. I think ever having an affair with another woman when he was married to Jerry Ryan. Well, things happen for a reason. I only saw The View, Jerry, what they showed on YouTube. I watched The View. I saw, a video showing the Eagles quarterback on there, and I just wanted to see it. I didn't even, I think it was only like a couple minutes. I'll tell you when I watched The View. Once I saw a commercial in the 90s that the Moody Blues were going to be on The View, when it was a whole different cast, and I watched that episode.
That's when Barbara Wawa was running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I never liked her either.
No.
But she wasn't as bad as what's currently on The View.
Well, she kept everything in control. She didn't let it get too out of hand.
It's okay if you watch it,
Do you watch the Helen show?
Helen?
Yeah.
Who's Helen who?
Ellen or Ellen?
Ellen, I don't know. I don't even know what the name of the show is.
I saw a clip of when Trump and Melania were on Ellen before he ever ran for president. I never liked her either. Something about that woman just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, you get, if you see, it's very hard to find them nowadays. So see the videos of her chilling out her employees in the backstage and stuff. It's just not, you did a bad job type thing. It's real demeaning type stuff, and especially males.
I'll tell Dana B why the Moody Blues were on The View. Around 1999, I think it was, they came out with a new album. Hardly anybody's heard of it. It's called Strange Times. They performed a song on there by the name of English Sunset. And I think they also performed Tuesday Afternoon. Some people don't like it. People have to check out some of the later Moody Blues because the quality of it just blows away their older recordings. Because Justin Hayward has a YouTube channel. He's even said in interviews the way they recorded Strange Times, that's what it said. If you have a really good sound system, that's what it should sound almost identical to what it sounded like when they recorded it in the studio. Because they did some of that stuff basically without, one guy doing this track, they did it live and recorded it all at the same time.
Yep.
It was analog, digital, I think.
Breathe deep, the gathering gloom.
If the only two members left, Pender, I think, is still alive. The original keyboard guy that played the Mellotron. Justin Hayward and John Lodge are the only two surviving members. Because Graham Edge and Ray passed away.
I didn't like those little floaty things that I keep thinking there's bugs on the screen. Kept floating around in between our cameras. It was bugging me.
And one thing I've liked about the Moody Blues, you listen to some of their lyrics. Some people think all these groups sold their soul to the devil. If you listen to the lyrics of Question, it really makes you think. A lot of their music is you listen to the lyrics, they're searching for the answer. Their music is really philosophical. And Justin Hayward is one of the most underrated guitarists. you like the Moody Blues, Bushcraft?
I don't know.
What about Eric?
There's some of their songs are good.
The-
I I listen to a lot of genres. I
What about,
mean,
yeah? What about what?
dude, go ahead, what?
You like the Moody Blues?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't heard the Moody Blues. If I have, I didn't know it was them.
I kind of thought you would say that. My son, who's around your age, there's a lot of guys he knows that he's exposed to that can't even believe how good their music is. Have you guys ever seen these YouTube channels where people they play music for someone and it's the first time they ever heard it, and they can't believe there isn't music being made like that nowadays? Something like the Grassroots, Sooner or Later,
Oh yeah.
Confession. Because I figure it's the first time. I'm not into any of this rap, hip hop. It's a shame people. I do like some of Motown. It's a shame that kind of music. Nobody's making anything like what I grew up with as a child.
I don't. It doesn't make a difference if it sounds good. I like it.
You're more into the heavy metal stuff, like AC/DC stuff that came out more in the '80s.
I was during then. Yeah, I was. After that, I was more into like the Doors and things like that.
Everybody's heard how people say Jim Morrison faked his death and became Rush Limbaugh. A lot of people believe that. I don't know if it's true or not.
I don't.
No,
That's a first for me.
Allegedly.
That one.
Allegedly.
That's a big allegedly.
Well, just like did Paul McCartney die and Pete Best replaced him?
yeah, I like Tom McDonald.
Now, was Tom McDonald one of the Doobie Brothers? There's that one guy, McDonald.
Michael McDonald was a Doobie Brother.
Yeah, I like the Doobies before Michael.
Late
McDonald.
Back in the cassette days,
Right.
I used to have a box set that was the Doors and some of the stuff that actually didn't make it. That was just in the recording studio and stuff. Really good stuff. Some parts to where they started making up stuff as he went, and the band was getting pissed at him because he was making the lyrics up as he went, but it was actually good. Would have made a good song, but not back then because they wouldn't have allowed it. But it was actually pretty good.
Just the title of their first album, Days of Future Past, it makes you think. Like, if One Life ever heard Tuesday Afternoon or Nights in White Satin or Ride My Seesaw, then he'll know that he heard the Moody Blues.
Definitely gonna look it up for sure.
Actually, the Moody Blues, they're one of the few groups that are concerned about copyright violations. I've recorded Moody Blues songs with my son's iPhone, the sound these speakers reproduce, and I've put them on YouTube, and YouTube never, there's a copyright thing. Like if I had a monetized station, I'd have to take them down, but they don't take them down because it's not monetized. But if you deal with Led Zeppelin, the Beatles,
well, it has nothing to do with the band.
it's the label, the copyright.
Yeah, it's the label there with. Like there's some bands out there that don't have a record label, but they're stingy as heck with their copyrights, and they actually hire attorneys that search for that kind of stuff on the internet. They actually have bots that go out and do that. because they don't want people, you know, which I can understand it in some sense, but like if I'm using a 30-second clip for an intro or something and give them credit down in the description and stuff, what does that hurt?
It doesn't hurt anybody.
Oh, I didn't get no money for that.
And the thing that amazed me, like before the meetings, really, like before a lot of the members passed away, there's a lot of videos on the internet where the band didn't mind if people recorded their concerts with a cell phone, where people actually bought a tripod, recorded the whole concert, then put the video on YouTube. And a lot of groups still won't permit something like that.
Yeah. The band that started all that mainly was Metallica. I hate to say that because I like Metallica. I've liked Metallica since the 80s.
They're okay. It's like the slight age difference between us has me partial to the older music. It's because of what we grew up with.
Yeah, I went to, I think, 6 of their concerts. At least 6.
You figure when I grew up, the Beatles, you know, that's what I heard. Like when I heard the Beatles were breaking up, you know, I was upset as a little kid. And you figure nobody had music like that before the Beatles.
Did you go to any Mozart concerts?
No. My sister saw the Monkees at the Philadelphia Spectrum. My father drove her down there, and they hated the opening act. The opening act was Jimi Hendrix. Before the Monkees. Can you even believe that?
Huh.
I was in first grade, I think.
That's another one I would like to seen in the 60s was
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Or another group, Cream.
Yeah, that's another one.
And you figure that kind of music,
and the Papas.
Yep, and you figure that the Mamas and the Papas, they were really big, like around 65. And you figure the people that were into the Beatles, Cream and Jimi Hendrix, that was a completely different type of sound. You know, I like some of the Crosby, Stills and Nash records, but I never liked their political points of view.
What'd you end up having for dinner tonight, Eric? Oh, I didn't see he was muted.
Probably had some kind of salad. I had leftover chuck roast with carrots and potatoes.
I got chicken in there.
Yeah, Susie D's right. Yoko Ono. I remember when John Lennon, when that came out, the Yoko Ono band, some of the songs, I thought they were pathetic. But what did One Life have for dinner?
I had fish and rice,
What kind of fish?
some whiting.
I like whiting. I'm so disappointed how that went up in price just like the other fish.
Oh yeah.
Like whiting with some tomato sauce on it is delicious. Even just plain cooked in the frying pan with olive oil and some garlic.
Oh yeah.
Now, look at like this. Fish was, it seems like you read the New Testament, Jesus liked to eat fish. He liked to fish too. Figure fish can't be bad if Jesus liked it.
Well, that was mainly their main thing over there was fish.
You never see anything in the Bible about any of them eating venison.
They had goats.
Yeah.
Probably the northern area, you probably maybe got way up there into Turkey and stuff. May have got some kind of deer, but It's
What about,
mainly goats and sheep.
I wonder if turkeys are popular in Turkey. That's another joke you didn't laugh at.
They probably never even seen a turkey. Like, what is this thing?
Sorry, I was letting Jack back in. What'd you say, Jim?
We
I
were.
don't know what to think about this one.
What did Eric have for dinner?
Let me look at this my phone here. We
Stripper and rice.
stripper and rice and honey glazed carrots and green beans. Well,
Jerry's
I
got
guess
glitter all over him.
you could take that a lot of different ways, I guess.
Maybe he had a few ladies of the evening over for dinner.
Nah, who, me?
Oh, Buster.
Vester. I don't know about Vester.
He misspelled that. We all know.
Yeah.
It's
I'll
fun.
take a ribeye medium rare and a loaded baked potato. That's it.
No salad?
No, steamed asparagus.
Oh.
I wanted to tell Grace.
With hollandaise sauce.
Nice.
And then apple pie a la mode. Hot, warm apple pie a la mode.
Ooh, that's
I
good.
love apple pie. I wanted to tell Grace, my wife looked at the recipe for tater tots, and she's already made something similar to that. The thing I like about store-bought tater tots, even though they're not healthy, is they're just fluffier.
Could be.
Instead of tater tots, make them into patties.
Yeah. There you go.
Or you can do them into triangles
Well, I love the LA tater tots.
because you can dip them into stuff and because all it is shredded. You shred them and you want to make sure you get the starch out of them before you start forming them and cooking.
We need some starch.
Oh, there's always going to be starch, but you don't want a bunch because you don't get that crispiness. It turns them more to mush.
High Country, just look up tater tots, do an image search. I like tater tots better than French fries.
Oh, no.
Hey, Harvest.
Depends if you shred onions and garlic with it. That's how I like doing my tater
Get
tots.
the fries loaded with melted cheese, bacon bits, some chives.
Or chili fries is good too.
That kind of sounds like we're at a fair or whatever. Funnel cake and
No, I mean make it yourself type thing.
yeah.
Because the chili you get for chili fries anywhere else is just from a can.
Well, my wife sometimes makes chili with rice and puts those dark red kidney beans in it. But I do like the canned chili with the beans. No, I don't like the canned chili that has no beans. It's like a gravy.
I can't stand chili in a can. I've never found a good can of chili.
Even the Hormel or the Aldi brand that used to be cheap.
I like green chili, authentic green chili, I should say, because most chili you were lucky if it had meat in it, but if it did, it was goat.
Well, I love red kidney beans. Red kidney beans with pork chops and garlic, and the liquid from that is delicious. And to answer Grace's favorite, what's my favorite fish? It's a tie. Either any kind of salmon, flounder, or cod. You know, I like the sockeye salmon, but it is a lot more expensive than the pink salmon. You know, flounder with breadcrumbs, cod with breadcrumbs. My wife makes a cod salad where it's an old Italian recipe where you cook the salmon, you add celery to it and olive oil and a few other things.
Sounds good.
Well, actually, when my wife's parents were alive, they used to do the 7 fishes for Christmas Eve dinner.
Mm.
What
7
were
different
7
fish.
7 different fishes.
Damn. Whole school of fish for dinner.
Schmelts were good. Clam linguine, perch, flounder, cod.
Yeah, flounder's excellent. I like salmon though.
Oh, yeah.
Broiled salmon with some finishing butter. A
There's
little
some
bit of
good
dill,
tuna.
some fresh dill.
I like it better with soy sauce and garlic. I don't like it as much with the dill. I'll eat it though. There's a big divide between people with their salmon. It's either dill or it's soy sauce.
I mean, everything in moderation. You don't have to load it with dill. Just a hint of it, you know.
No, I've met people who won't eat salmon with soy sauce and garlic. It's got to have the dill.
What about teriyaki sauce?
That's a little different.
A little too exotic.
Well, just like everybody calls it Worcestershire sauce, you put on meat, but it's actually okay.
Hold on a minute.
What?
If you were blocked, nobody could see what you were saying. So evidently you're not blocked. Hence your name's up on the screen. And it takes a lot for Grace to ban somebody.
Yeah, Grace is a very nice person. She's not going to abuse out her wrench. But you don't want to bring out the dark side of Grace.
There's no such thing as the dark side of Grace.
Oh, yes, there is.
If somebody doesn't like her cooking,
New York side of her.
Well, I'm from Jersey, so that's normal behavior for me. So. Right, Grace?
That's why I get a kick out of now I'm not saying that drivers are nice or anything in Detroit, but
oh man,
if you ever go to New York, you'll see the definition of rude drivers.
New York drivers, man.
Oh man.
It's like lead, follow, or get out of the way. I'm going to get attacked for that one. Watch.
And it could be 40 below, and somebody will stick their head out and call you a bunch of names.
She got me already. It's the it's the water at Jersey. All right for you, Grace. They don't know where they want to go.
Oh, Harvest, are you over on Bushcrafty? I don't know if there's anybody over there. I accidentally clicked the thing, evidently, because I went live over there too. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, Harvest, you're over there. That's why you don't see anybody. Oh, poor Harvest is over here by herself. Oh, Chuck was over here too.
Yeah, I saw him not on my phone, but on the laptop.
Yeah.
Well, do you got this going on 2 different channels?
Yeah, I accidentally, evidently, I don't remember hitting Bushcraft because it's a clear over on the other side. Evidently, I did.
I was watching one of the local Philadelphia news channels tonight, and they announced that 400 store companies are closing in the United States. And they said it had to do with the Trump tariffs. I'm thinking the tariffs haven't gone into effect except for stuff coming from China yet. They're trying to,
Yeah.
the local media is trying to blame all these store closings on Trump.
Well, who owns that local news company?
It begins with
CNN?
Disney.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I know.
Yeah, Disney is Disney. I'll just leave it at that. And I'm surprised they ain't got rid of that lady yet. Or I don't know if she calls herself a lady, but
Well, who's going to be the next major news anchor that resigns?
yeah,
Um,
is it resigning or is it given
Being
an opportunity to go out with
Gracefully.
some money?
Well, the thing
Allegedly.
is, we've been saying this for years. Allegedly, a lot of FCC laws have been broken, and I think Pam's Bondi is going to go after people with this stuff. Hopefully next. I mean, it's going to take a long time to go after all these people. There's just so many of them involved. Oh, high country's in Australia. I don't think Australia's economy is doing real good.
Well, I don't think anybody's is really
Yeah.
here
Well, look at the stock
lately.
market today. The only stock that really didn't go down too bad was Berkshire Hathaway B stock.
And I say economy as in not the rich people, the working people. That's the economy I go with mostly.
Well, did you hear what's going on? How people are holding out to do the Trump tax cuts? The Democrats are voting against it. If this doesn't get passed, all the middle class taxes are going to go up, and the rich people's taxes aren't going to be affected at all.
Oh, mine went up again this year, which sucks.
No, I mean the income tax.
I'm talking property.
When do you have to have yours paid? Because ours is due the end of April. We'll get the bill the first day.
In 16 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something. Did you? In O'Hare Airport, one plane almost hit another. It canceled landing and started going back up, and they say it was 250 feet away from hitting another plane.
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad
was the commercial jet was landing and a private Learjet was crossing the runway, apparently or allegedly without clearance to do so. So the airliner had to abort landing.
Well, I'm glad my son made it back safe and sound. Paris to Dallas, Dallas to St. Louis, then St. Louis to Baltimore. Then he drove home from his girlfriend's. Oh, speaking of Maryland, did you hear what they want to do down there? They were going to rescind the law. Let me word this the best way I can think of it. They want to have condom dispensers in elementary schools. They have to pay for it. And they want to have condom dispensers in preschools. Now, if anybody in chat is a man and they used a condom when they were in preschool, they're a better man than any of us here. I mean, that's how ridiculous it is. Preschoolers needing condoms.
Well, there's a video going on right now, and I think it was Texas or New Mexico. They had the school spent 80. I don't know. It's school district, I should say, 80 or 80 million for phone fobs or whatever they call them. It's to lock your phone or some weird thing. And the school ran out of money. So they fed the kids baked potatoes for 3 months because they ran out of money.
Wow.
And then the next school year, what they were saying is they've been eating the same thing because that's all the school had, or the school district. And this is why, you know, the, get rid of the government agent. It should go to the state. And if the state is not doing what they're supposed to be, then the government doesn't give them their money. Like,
Yeah, the federal government, they had to have, they had to have accountability for where all the state money is spent, to every last penny, even though Trump's going to eliminate the penny, for all the federal money that's appropriated to the state. One thing that annoys me, when you go to school around here, you got to buy your lunch. Well, we did when I was in school. In Philadelphia, all the kids get free lunches. And who's paying for that? The state. I mean, it's sad when you think of the fact that so many of the people in Philadelphia allegedly can't afford to send their kids to school with a lunch or have the money to buy a lunch.
Yeah, that's been a thing for a long time. There's a lot of people can't afford it. And that used to be allegedly a way of the schools making money. That way was selling, charging for the school lunches and stuff. And that's what they're wanting to go back to. But again, there are lots of kids that can't, or parents that can't feed their kids going to school, because it's a lot different than feeding your kid at home than preparing a meal for them to go to school.
When I went to school in the 70s, when I was in high school, I just made my own lunch.
I always went off campus and went to, you know, Burger King or something like that, McDonald's.
If you're watching some of these videos about way back then, I didn't know that in the 60s, some high schools had smoking sections for the kids outdoors.
Yeah.
Because anytime you went by the faculty lounge when I was in school, if a teacher came out and the door was open, you could just see a cloud of smoke in there.
Well, there was a section in New Mexico, school I went to for a while, that there was a section that you could go outside and smoke, and the teachers would go there, and I could bum a cigarette off a teacher and sit there and smoke right there, and they never ever said anything. But yeah, times have changed.
Lake ought to come up here.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's passed, but they can still charge, because I guess you're supposed to qualify now, but well, there's difference between the breakfast and lunch too.
Well, I never get a free lunch.
I was waiting for that.
That's why I have so many cans of salmon.
Yeah, it could be, because I think that was in Las Vegas, actually, because I didn't go very much. I didn't do the school thing very much.
Now, be charming. You didn't ask your mother to pay for condoms, I hope. She knows I was just joking.
Yeah, I hope the Bitcoins come back before, because I was hoping, as I was going to pay my taxes with my Bitcoin money, and we had a bit of a crash here.
When I was a kid, I remember those chocolate candies that were solid chocolate. There were some kind of a coin. Forget if they were a nickel or a quarter. Coin candy. Yeah, and I never had a lunch box as a kid, Vester. I had a brown paper bag,
I never had any of that stuff.
and I used to use the same paper bag over till it literally fell apart, and I had to get another one out of the closet.
And one of the favorite things to eat, and it's probably still today, was pizza. That weird square pizza that they would have.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Gil.
Yeah, David B. I remember bringing hard-boiled eggs to school. I hated when it was a late lunch because then I was always concerned that my sandwich and my hard-boiled eggs would get, kind of funny. Because I remember there were three lunch periods. One was like around 10:30, quarter of 11. Then one of them was after closer to 1. I thought that's awfully late, especially when you get out of school like at 2:38.
Yeah, Vegas was all year round school. You didn't get out for summertime or anything like that. Which it wasn't all year round for me anyway.
And you figure, I was reading somewhere where, okay, we're like 40th in the world now for reading and math. And after 2021, 2020 and 2021, everything is just nosedive.
Oh yeah, it has for a long time. Ever since they took a certain something out of the schools,
It would be nice if the Supreme Court would revisit that.
so, and that's the thing with leaving letting the schools do, or letting the states control their own school system. Oklahoma is allowing religion back in schools.
Yeah, I didn't know if I could say that word. I'm going to do this. Because I went to Catholic school for 3 years, and nuns told you had to have your hands like this to pray. Yeah, and Grace, I think back when people our age went to school, we were always in the top 5. Grace, did you have 3 cups of coffee today?
I haven't had coffee in a long time. I had this is probably 3 weeks into the carnivore. I had the mushroom coffee. Ooh boy, I was like, I was up for like 2.5 days.
Mm.
I was like,
Mm.
nope, not gonna drink that again. Oh man.
I had 3 cups a day, 1 at breakfast, 1 after lunch, 1 after dinner.
I mean, the mushroom coffee is good, really good for you, but
I didn't know there was such a thing as mushroom coffee.
oh yeah, it gives you so much. Normally, it doesn't because I would have all the other junk in my system, but it was like non-filtered.
What kind of mushrooms do they use?
I forget, lion's mane, a few others I can't remember, but I remember lion's mane being one.
I wouldn't know what kind of mushroom to eat. All I know is if you have horse manure next to a hedgerow and it's in shade, mushrooms will grow in it.
Yeah, I don't think it was
That
from
kind of
that.
mushroom.
No, it actually doesn't taste like it tastes like coffee. It actually tastes probably better than coffee. The only thing, like if you use a spoon to stir it up, it's at the bottom of the cup. You get the grit, but I've got the little frother thing that you use to stir. That thing does wonders, and you don't need sugar or anything like that.
Do you recycle your coffee grounds into the soil for the garden?
I don't have coffee grounds.
Well, the mushrooms.
There is no mushroom. You just drink it.
Okay. Because we drink like, regular coffee, whatever's on sale. I don't know what I'm drinking half the time. Because the wife buys whatever on sale. But we take all the coffee grounds and put them in the field.
Yeah, chock full of nuts. I think it was a good brand. Folgers used to be, but I wouldn't touch that anymore.
I wouldn't drink any kind of Sanka.
Yeah, Sanka used to be good because it used to be a good coffee to store because it was freeze dried. I still have some freeze dried coffee put up for prep. Not that I would drink it, but I could actually barter with it.
I don't like instant coffee at all. I remember my parents drinking instant coffee.
Well, say you didn't have coffee for a couple weeks or a month, that instant coffee would sound good, especially if it was could smell it right in front of you. Plus, the instant coffee is good for making ice cream with it.
One thing that tasted horrible, because my mother had a heart disorder, she was told to drink the decaf, and she preferred Sanka decaf. I tried that once. Oh, it was horrible.
Well, I understand now why you would have decaf, but I was like, why drink coffee if you don't have caffeine in it?
Yep. Yeah, I can't do anything. It's like I have to have my coffee after my orange juice.
It's Shadow. What kind of coffee do you drink? The name brand. But yeah, that was the hard thing for me to when I gave up coffee was the morning smell, missing that smell because I had already set my big mug and had it timed to. I didn't need an alarm. Once I smell that, you would wake up. Yeah. Yeah, nowadays I was watching some. There was a video of orders that people would make in a drive-through for Blockbuster, or not Blockbuster. Oh, Starbucks. Okay, I've heard of that.
Oh, Javalia, that's good stuff.
Yeah, dark roast. Yeah, a lot of people don't like the dark roast. I think the dark roast is really good. I think it's depending how many years you've been drinking coffee too. Yeah, you got to read through the typos. Decapitated coffee. Yeah, got to watch out for that. With pinto beans. Yeah, I used to. People say, "Oh, don't drink coffee at night and never go to sleep." It used to relax me to go to sleep because, well, now caffeine affects me. But when you used to, I used to drink Mountain Dew for pop all the time and coffee in the morning, and you know that little bit of caffeine at nighttime didn't do anything. It was just it was relaxing.
My wife, like, after she gets up in the morning, like about 3 a.m., she makes the coffee. By the time I get up, I have to put it in the microwave to drink it.
Oh, it only has like a you. What kind of coffee pot do you got?
It's one. I don't know if it's a Mr. Coffee or not.
Oh, I was going to ask if it's one of the older ones that
No, it's not.
turns off after
All
2 hours.
percolated.
No, I liked. Well, okay, years ago we used to make coffee with a percolator.
Yeah.
After we first were married, it's hard to find those things anywhere
Oh yeah, real hard.
because they wear out. I'm not going to risk buying one at a thrift store. What if it doesn't work?
Well, it's usually the thing at the very bottom doesn't. You have to seal the little thing at the bottom because it has like a flat thing at the bottom with holes in it that once it starts the water boils, it goes up that tube, and that's where it comes down.
I mean, we have a Mr. Coffee. I'm pretty sure. Actually, those things don't last long. My wife has to put vinegar in the thing like every few weeks because
Oh wow.
that's how hard the water is. She puts vinegar in there and runs it through there. Then you see.
Yeah, I remember doing that, but it wasn't every 2 weeks. It was about every couple months.
Well, she likes the thing to be clean because I mean, it's like this. The water here, when my parents would heat water up in a tea kettle, after a few months, they would have to put vinegar in it. You would see this white deposit in the whole bottom and sides of the tea kettle. It was all calcium carbonate.
Yeah. And it depends your water too.
Well, everyone around here, like, there's good well water and there's bad well water. My water tastes just like what my parents had. Where my sister lives, a few miles from us on the other side of the Skippack Creek, her water doesn't taste nearly as good as ours.
The best water I tasted was in Colorado. Found this spring coming out of the mountain and started drinking that. Oh man, that was the best water.
I mean, there's certain areas where the water is good. If you go out towards Harrisburg, the water has a sulfur smell to it from even people like well water, and they say it has to do with all the coal mining caused that.
I had which was a really good conversation. She was going on about how people, when struggle or something starts happening, they panic and everything. Like she was explaining to others about what happens if your stove gives out and you don't have money to replace it, because right now replacing a stove is very expensive, unless you buy used and stuff, and it's still at used they're pretty high. But what happens if your coffee pot dies? You know,
Good instant.
well, no, you should have multiple. You should always have some way of backing up something. And it's just like your power goes out. You're just gonna panic and carry on, and or like if you have an electric stove and your power goes out, what means do you have of cooking your food for that night? Propane stove or a Coleman stove or whatever. Have multiple things. That way, you're not, when something like that happens, you don't freak out and get all paranoid and stuff.
Yeah, we had to get a new range a little over a year ago. I forget what went on that thing.
Yeah, I was sitting there looking, because I'm wanting to put a gas stove in, and I went to check, which I'm gonna do real quick here and check gas stove and see. The cheapest one in this area is $400.
I think because of installation, I think with everything and taking away the old one, it was close to $500. And I have a story to tell you about gas. One of my family members, a niece, they're as green as he can be. They live outside of New York City. They got rid of their oil furnace and switched to all electric to heat the house. Their electric bill is only a little over $1,000 a year, and it's not a real big house.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine spending that much on electricity?
Yeah.
Because propane is way cheaper than fuel oil. It didn't used to be. Figured 22 years ago, nobody had propane around here unless there were gas lines in the neighborhood. You figure anybody that's propane around here, you got to put a tank in the ground just to have it.
Hey, Mary Luck, good to see you. And I see Mr. You had to put Mr. on it because Jeff kept. He would always get the genders wrong. I'll put it that way. Mr. Cheddar Prepper. Yeah, it's always in like people are freaked out and went to the store and bought gallons of water because their water got shut off in this area because they're replacing all the pipes and everything. They would run to the store and buy all these gallons of water so they could flush their toilet. And don't people, prepare for that? And you'd be surprised how many people don't have the water. I seen a YouTuber, his pipes froze. He had to give water to his animals, bottled water. He's pouring in, and these are farm animals, not, just dogs and cats and whatnot. Farm animals. How do you sit there and dump these little bottles of water in a trough for a cow and a pig? You would think somebody like that would have backups for this kind of stuff, because a farm animal takes more water than a 12-ounce bottle over and over again. Could you imagine going to a store and buying 50 cases to fill up a trough for a cow?
Heck, when my dog drinks water, half of it's on the floor. And she can't help it. It's from when she was shot in the face as a puppy before I ever got her, where she was grazed by a 22. And actually, I don't know how you started talking about it. When I was a kid, I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. When I was a kid, my dad referred to our German Shepherd as Mr. Dog, even though she was a female. And I call Holly Mr. Dog some of the time. Only because of her personality is so domineering.
Yeah, mine's. They say it's the safe stuff, and we're not in the water table as East Palestine either. But I don't drink my tap water. No.
Well, my son buys bottled water in Lancaster because it tastes terrible. But he's got one of those, I think it's a Brita filter, or however you pronounce it, on there, and he says it tasted really good after it's filtered.
Yeah, I had one of those filters that's supposed to last for so many thousands of gallons and this and that, and in a month it got clogged. I was like, no, I'm not going to buy those filters every month for that thing.
You figure in our area, there's a tube company called Superior Tube. It's not where we live. Like, well, it's a few miles from us. But from them using TCE in the water for so many years, there's a lot of water in the neighboring towns, in the one township that got polluted. So people have to drink bottled water.
Well, they still, I mean, the price of bottled water in the eastern side of Ohio, the sales have went up like 200 and some percent, 200 and I don't know what it was, but that's why I got a kick out of them complaining because, oh, Trump is giving them his old water, his Trump water. Anything that Trump does, it's bad, no matter if it's good.
How is Trump giving them his old water? Where do they think the water comes from?
I don't know. And as long as it's, not, heated up and freezed and heated up multiple times. And it came from Florida. So I don't know where he made the water, and bottled it and all that stuff, but he had warehouses down there evidently, and that's where it came from. It was flown in and delivered to the people in Ohio when the train thing happened.
Yeah, so he paid and had good water brought in, and there were people that were afraid to drink and thinking they were going to be poisoned or something.
Yeah, that just because of what the media put on.
I want to talk about something Blake said about water from the mountains. When I was about 5 years old, okay, one day my mother noticed the water had a blue color to it. And my dad started making calls. And here we found out up in the Poconos, they were pouring all this blue vegetable dye in the water just to see if this would show up somewhere. And that's how we know the well water around here comes from rainwater in the Poconos, then it gets filtered through all the rocks. I mean, people think, you drill a well, it's getting well from the groundwater. Not necessarily.
It depends, yeah.
It all depends on where you're at.
And well, they like if you drill in your area, they already know where that water comes from, what table it comes from.
Because they've determined that already.
Yeah, it's now if you go back 100 years or so, they didn't know that stuff, but now they have geologists and all that stuff that has all that stuff mapped.
Like when I was a kid, most of the wells were about 120 feet. And my grandparents had one of those hand pumps outside of their farmhouse. It worked in I'd say it worked probably when they bought the house around 1932. And then a few decades after that, it didn't work. And my sister has one too that never worked when she bought her farm in 1988.
Now, Lake, we know you have cases and cases of that Will Smith water in your basement.
But the average well depth, this is according to what I was told when we drilled a well back in 2002, to get good water around here, most wells now have to be 250 feet deep because the water table is basically dropped with all the homes. And in my area, if a well goes dry and you have public water by county ordinance, you have to hook up to the public water. You can't. They won't give you a permit to go deeper because some of these wells are redrillable wells. Having some lemonade.
What they don't know won't hurt them.
Yeah, but the thing is, the way people are, if you have to have worked on a septic system, you got to get a permit from the county board of health.
Well, sometimes I can agree with some of that stuff, and then sometimes it's like, because you like a neighbor goes and does this, and then your yard starts smelling.
Well, we got neighbors around here that have all in-ground systems, and they were never. You figure back when they did this years ago, they didn't know what they know now. And actually, you'd be surprised. Around here, there's so many busybodies. If somebody's doing any kind of construction, like we have a neighbor behind us, he's building a new house. After he's done, he's going to tear down this old house that was built in the I'd say the early 1900s, late 1800s. Well, there's no doubt in my mind a few people have called up just to find out if the guy has permits for everything. Because some people have nothing better to do in this world than to be a busybody. But earlier in the winter, bushcraft, I saw a dead skunk outside on the side of the house, and I know what killed it, probably a fox or a coyote. Well, the one day I was on the phone talking to my wife's my ex sister-in-law. When my wife's brother died, I called his ex-wife up, to give her my condolences. And there's this woman in the yard. Okay, and I had to get off the phone, open the door, and this woman's yelling at me, and I know who she was. She's saying, "Why is there a dead cat over there?" I said, "It's not a dead cat, it's a skunk." And she said, "How do you know?" I said, "I know. It's a skunk. You can tell looking at it." I said, "We get off my property because my dog is barking her head off and I'm on the phone with someone." I mean, around here, people will walk into your property if they think you're doing something wrong.
No, that's probably not a safe way to do things. Dana B, it depends how deep your well is. One of the best things is try to find an old, if it's not too deep, is try to find an old well pump, the one with that has the leather in it and stuff, because it's very hard to freeze those. Not saying that you'll have that much cold down there, but those are very hard to freeze because they're so well built, but it's very hard to find them because people use them for decorations and stuff nowadays. Now I've seen people say, "Oh, my well, I can siphon it out of my well," and I said, "Well, how deep is your well?" 250 feet down. And I'm like, a human doesn't have that much sucking power to suck up water from 250 feet down. The force that would take.
You would need such a long hose to get down there.
Well,
siphon it out.
Depending on what kind of well you have. You can get some water out of, depending on how far, and it all depends of your makeup of where the chuck valve is and stuff like that, because you can get the water that's out of the pipe, but you can't get the water from the well into the pipe and out. It's totally there's so many different variables. You have to look at it that way.
And I know for a fact, Mary, electricity is way more than $300 a month now. I wonder how long ago was she moved from California? Because I've met people over the past few years that bought trays that told me they had like $400 or $500 electric bills where they lived. Another thing with wells, because I know my sister had one dug. Around here, if you drill a new well and it's for human use, it all has to be grouted so no rainwater can get in it. But you can dig one for agricultural use, which doesn't require the grouting. And they call it grouting, but it's just putting cement around it.
Yeah, I see that. I seen a video of this guy that had a well, and he got one of these drill pumps and said that if my power goes out and stuff, I got a way to get my water out of my well. And I hope that's not the only thing he has for water, because he's not getting that water out of there with that little pump that hooks into a drill.
Well, have you ever tried getting water out of a well by hand, any?
Well, what do you mean by hand?
Well, using a pump.
Oh, just the old ones, because the newer ones, there's some real expensive ones that you can get, but you can't leave them outside, because wintertime comes, and if it's got water in it, you ruin a $5,000 pump. Now,
That's
and
what
I'm talking a hand pump that you do this, not the old fashioned ones that you pump it up like that. The old fashioned ones, all you have to have water first, because you have to wet the leather, because that's what creates the suction. Those ones I've used on a 200 to 300 foot well. But like I said, I don't know the newer things that cost up to 5,000 and higher. Yeah, but like at my grandpa's, we used a bucket to get water out of the well. It was a well. It was hand dug. Him and neighbors from around came out and dug a 70-foot well.
What state was that in?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah. And
I wonder if there's even water in that well anymore, the way water tables have dropped.
Down there, yeah. That's in a valley and everything, so yeah. And there would be droughts and whatever, and that thing still had water in it. I remember we had a metal bucket for wintertime, and we would lower rocks inside the bucket and let it fall to break the ice. If it did freeze, and that was really cold winters, and then we'd bring it back up and dump out the rocks and put the bucket back down there and fill up a 5-gallon bucket, or 2 of them. I didn't do 2 of them because I was too small, but we would dump it in a 5-gallon plastic bucket and bring it in the house.
Because you probably used a metal bucket if you're going to put rock in it to break the ice. So
it was a metal bucket.
Yeah.
Because the plastic bucket would shatter.
Yeah, I need to track down a restaurant that'll give me some more 5-gallon plastic buckets. These plastic buckets, after a few years, the plastic gets brittle.
Yeah.
And the last time I got plastic buckets, I was annoyed. It's not their fault. This restaurant gave me buckets. Instead of having the metal handles, they had plastic. And if you fill these things up with water, they're not going to last very long. The plastic will just break right off the bucket. Because when I'm outside working, Holly drinks out of a 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah, the thing that kills buckets is the sun. the plastic buckets.
Mm-hmm.
I get like 2 to 3, about 3 years, depending, out of a bucket for garden.
I just picked up about another 20, almost 20 more of them the other day from the Chinese place.
Restaurant wildlife.
Yeah, I wish they had some around places around here that did buckets, but we evidently that they just make their food fresh.
I used to get some 7-gallon buckets from a catering business where they were tarred. They were the real tall ones.
Mhm.
You know what? There's one place. Most of the buckets all had labels on them that said pickles.
Yeah,
Kosher dill pickles. How many buckets do you have now, Watt?
Oh shoot, I got more than I need to use right now, but every time I go to that particular spot, it's usually a while in between visits, and the guy says, "You need any buckets?" I say, "Yeah, I'll take them if you got them," and it'll usually be at least a dozen or so.
I
It's,
call. Go ahead.
it's the 5-gallon food grade buckets. Mostly, it's like old like soy sauce buckets or like mayonnaise where they make like the white sauce for the hibachis and stuff.
I'll tell you how cheap people are. These restaurants, they throw them in the trash. I called up a place once. They said I can have buckets, but you have to pay for them. I said you're going to throw them in the trash anyways, and they said that's beside the point.
Yeah, this guy, he's pretty cool. I seen that he had some buckets in the back, and I just asked him. I said, "Hey, do you ever? What do you do with them?" He said, "I toss them." I said, "Well, you'll collect them. I'll pick them up." And ever since then, I've been doing it for a while. I said, "Man, you got a lot of buckets this time." He said, "Well, you said you wanted them. I saved them for you." I need to get some more. Get some more ready to put in.
we don't have a bakery. We don't have bakeries here.
Bakeries I saw in the news are really going to have to raise their prices because of eggs. They're saying eggs could get to 14, 15 bucks a dozen.
I don't know. It all depends on the, once the eggs start coming back around again, how much they're going to sell them for. Because they could keep at the original price and they would go back down, but they're getting all this extra money. They're not going to. It's up to them. Very doubtful though they will though.
You figure, look how many years went by where eggs were always like no more than 99 cents a dozen on sale.
Yeah.
I mean the half decent ones, not the alley eggs.
Yeah, but if they can, instead of going way back there where they weren't making any money or making very little money, to now they're tripled, double tripled, quadrupled their money.
Because I don't drink like white milk, cow milk. What does that go for a gallon now?
$3 or close to $4, $3.59 ish.
So milk's a little more than gas now.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I got to bounce. I got to go take care of something.
Okay.
You guys have a good evening. Chat, you have a good evening.
Take care, Eric.
You too, Eric.
Thanks.
Eric's going to go have a salad.
Or Jack has to go out. When is somebody that's going to need out soon? She's sleeping like a little baby right now.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a price, like say they 4 or 5 years ago, they were what, $1.50, $1.60 a dozen. It's the same product, the same everything, but would they rather go back to selling it for $1.79 a dozen, or would they rather have more profit and sell them at $7 a dozen? The company's in it for money, so they're going to keep it at that high price. I think it may go down to, maybe $4 a dozen, but very doubtful we're going to see it go back to where it was.
Because after it went up the last time, they came down in price around here to what they used to be. Actually, one grocery store around here named Redner's, they get their eggs from a place in Reading, and I remember getting them before eggs went up in price for 99 cents a dozen for large eggs on sale.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to see that again, Bushcraft.
Yeah. Well, you go back, there was no such thing as small or medium eggs. That all you got was a dozen eggs, and then there were jumbo eggs. And then there was double yolk eggs, but there was no small, medium, and large eggs. You got a dozen eggs, and they were big eggs. Now they're large eggs are like really small eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making me think of, I never mentioned this to anyone. The township I grew up in, actually, there were kids I knew in high school that worked at the place. And then they ceased to do it, and it sold and became the Worcester Post Office. There was a place in the township I grew up in called an egg auction, where farmers brought eggs there, and the kids that worked there packed the eggs in the containers before you had all this automated stuff. I think they were cleaned by hand and put in the egg things. Because you'd see trucks go in and out of there, taking the eggs away. That's probably all automated now.
Yeah, I remember had one of my wife's friends come over, and because we had chickens, so when we bring eggs in, they were dust off with hands, and they were stored on the counter. And my wife was baking something, I forget what it was, and so, oh, that's gross, but didn't realize, because she said your eggs are all spoiled up there on the counter. And my wife tried to explain, no, they're not. They've got a protective film around them where these eggs will last up to a month or longer. And those are bad eggs, and this and that. You're supposed to be washed and put in the refrigerator and stuff. And tried to explain to this person, because all the eggs she's ever had came from the grocery store, and our eggs, we had green eggs, we had blue eggs, and brown eggs. We didn't even have white ones because the breed of chickens we had. And she was trying to say that the green ones were bad and the blue ones were bad. I was just sitting there just cracking up laughing.
See, people have gotten too far removed from agriculture to even know this kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. And tried to say that the eggs you got in the store, they didn't have poop and stuff on them. And we tried to explain where it came out of the chicken. There's poop, and where it lays is going to be poop. So there is no chicken egg that doesn't get hatched or doesn't come out of a chicken that doesn't have poop on it.
There's no such thing as a clean chicken egg until somebody.
No. But yeah, it was funny.
Because I remember when I was a little kid, my dad took me to see my grandparents. I saw they were all rusted. These things, back in those days, they didn't have all these trash trucks, trash companies. These big round things of metal that were like half rusted. And my grandfather told me these were chicken incubators to keep the peeps warm after they were born.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember, and it's not too well. It is. I guess it is a long time ago, but yeah, I can't over 20 years. So, there was no trash company in our area where we lived. So we got 5 gallon. We burned everything in a 5 gallon bucket, cans and stuff. If we had cans or glass jars or anything like that, that would get hauled away. We had a section where we would keep that stuff, but everything else got burned up in a 5 gallon barrel. And depending on what was in there, most of that stuff just got turned into ash and never see it again. But eventually you would have to haul that barrel off because it would start getting brittle and stuff, and
Get a new one. Yeah.
And just cut a hole in the top of it and go out there with the and put holes in it.
Well, actually, there's still junk on this property because we call the drainage area a dry creek bed. It's a ditch. And years ago, when I cleaned up all of the junk down there, you can see parts. I don't know why. There's parts of tires and there, parts of a lawnmower engine, like an old-fashioned washing machine where I think you had to use a crank to get the water out of the clothing. Then one of the neighboring properties, you can see all these newspapers that were just sitting outside in piles, tied up with, I don't know where they got the plastic rope back in the days. Because this woman, a neighbor, it's a long story, she was in her 80s when we got the property. She was saying, well, because back, when we bought this house, there weren't trashmen. People don't realize that.
Yeah.
In the 30s and 40s, people didn't have all these, trash companies.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night. It's almost 11 o'clock, and I said I wasn't going to go on that long. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do it because I said I was going to do it every other week. So not sure if I'm going to do it this week or not. So you have to keep an eye. If not, I'll be live Friday anyway. But I might skip Herb Wednesday this week, depending on how busy I get. Next week I do have another guest that I'll be interviewing, so make sure you tune in next Tuesday because it's going to be a good one. And we will catch you guys on the next one. God bless.
Take care, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Thank you. YouTube, don't copyright this. I made it.